Custom shop or vintage, you decide. They're both expensive, but we're here to kind of help you walk through it. So I'm Baxter.
I'm Jonathan.
Thanks for joining us again here at Casino Guitars. We're talking about Fender Custom Shop, Gibson Custom Shop, vintage Fenders and vintage Gibsons. Just like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to spend your money? There's the pros and cons to both, right?
Pros and cons to both.
The cons are you're going to spend a lot of money either way. But
I was trying to think of a nice way to say,
no,
what if you're just poor? I don't know.
It's expensive. It's expensive, but no, because like we sell a lot of Fender Custom Shops. We do sell dreams and children's nightmares.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to watch Krampus soon. But I'm gonna do that for Christmas maybe.
Is that a thing? Is that
it's
your
a scary movie?
thing now?
No, but we sell a lot of Fender Custom Shop. We work hand in hand with them directly. We think they build the finest instruments that the world has ever seen.
That's true.
Now, on the other hand, there is vintage Fender, which I also think are some of the finest instruments ever built. Different.
Magical.
Sometimes.
Not all the time, though.
Sometimes there's
not all the time.
Well, that is the caveat here too. So that's the first thing. Is like, yes. Do I own Fender Custom Shops? Yes. Do you own them?
Yes.
Yes. Do I own vintage Fenders? Yes. Do you own vintage Fenders?
Oddly, I do.
Yes, he does.
Weird.
Yeah, so we do. Do we play our custom shops more?
Yes.
Yes. My Jaguars are like where I play the vintage ones more a little bit right now, just because they're so cool and funky and they're wonky guitars anyway. But let's talk dollars right now. So on average, your Fender Custom Shop is really landing anywhere in that $5,500 range. For a Fender Custom Shop team build, non-master build. Now
that is like, and this is probably another video at some point. Like that is the new. That's where they live.
That's the new average.
You can find ones that are new old stock out there, less than that. But like if you order one,
there is nothing under $4,000 anymore. That
sadly
doesn't exist. NOS, non-hand wound, everything like $4,100 minimum.
I was gonna say starting at 41, 42.
I think that's right about where you're at.
And
right
that's
now.
assuming no hand wired pickups.
And that has been with no price increases over the past year either.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that holds. There should be no tariff effects on this thing. It's a USA built.
That'd be weird. Why did the tariffs affect my custom
Because
shop?
we felt like it. Tick, 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 tick. Anyway, let's talk about. Most people are making Fender Custom Shops from 1954 to 1964. Yeah. That's sort of like the year targets to make. You cannot get a vintage piece in that price range at anywhere near reasonable dollar anymore. You're starting at $20,000. For anything starting, and that's probably with like a refin at this point now. And maybe some swaps out electronics at that point. That's a low end. 2280 and up.
Yeah, I was looking at them over the weekend because I sent Sean and our friend Michael at Tontugo our little chat. Isaiah Sharkey was selling I think it was like a 63 Strat, but it's refinished and it's not the original pickups. And we were talking about I think it's still probably a 20K at least guitar, maybe a little more because it's his, which is a funny thing.
Which is funny.
And then the custom colors, I was looking at the original custom colors listed for like $80,000 on Reverb.
That's a little bit. That's reaching for the sky a bit, but like
right.
you're at least in the the $50K range once you get into certain years in custom colors. I saw stuff out in Nashville with crazy overpriced price tags on it too, when I went to the.
And we know that price is on there because people are going to negotiate.
There's a whole video we did on that. But let's talk about ones you can actually get vintage wise, because that's the hunt. Late 60s. 70s, 80s is now considered vintage, but let's just cap it at 79.
My vintage that I own is a 79.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm going to cap it at 79 just for our minds to be able to come. Those are sort of like, those are kind of living like for a Stratocaster, they're living anywhere from you can get them from 5K all the way up to like 15K, depending on what it is in that ballpark. Who would have thought 1970 Strats would have jumped up to $10,000? You couldn't give those away 10 years.
So long they were trash. You were like, man, I don't know.
The Tellys are more. Those early 72 Tellys now, they're getting expensive.
Yes.
So it's now let's jump into Fender Master Build. Your sort of cost average there is like your $9,500, $12,000, depending if you're going full tilt hog wild in there. You can get some that are more once you get into these crazy wiring schematics that you dream up, custom inlays, all sorts of fancy stuff, gold leaf, whatever you want to throw in there.
I got one right now that's...
Yes, we're not going to talk about that. It's amazing.
Astronomical. But it's got everything. I mean everything.
Cadillac.
And then some. There is actually
inside
a Cadillac. A small Cadillac.
No, so master builders are living in that sort of like, let's just call it 10K. Like that's sort of like a nice little target. Like
I think that's a reasonable assumption.
You're entering into that number there. I call it the 5 figures, early phase 5 figures. So you have to sort of do the math there. Now, what is the benefit of a master build versus a vintage piece?
I mean, you know it's going to be built great. You know it's going to play amazingly. It's going to all work.
It's going to be built theoretically to your specs if you're doing it.
To what you want.
But if you buy one from a shop that's spec'd one out for you, it's going to be an amazing piece. It will work. You can have something that is the finest of building available.
Right.
You know, vintage pieces were built on a production line, and you know they're not always the greatest. But I love vintage guitars too. That's a problem.
There's something about them, right? I mean, it's rare you see like a player who gets sort of famous or big that they don't start buying and playing some vintage guitars. They like, but they're going all over the country usually and finding like the one. They're not buying it like, oh, the first, vintage whatever blah blah I saw.
Well, see, the guys like you, myself, Derek, we sort of try to find the good deals of the weird ones.
Which wouldn't necessarily be the one that you're gonna like, just because still the things that I enjoy playing the most are my actual just good old team built. Custom built now, if you call them that.
No, so the good things here's one of the pros about buying a vintage though. This is a major point of this video too, is like, that is, I hate to say it, that is the investment side of it. Like almost when people ask, should I buy this or this? I'm like, if you're buying it and you're thinking about swapping it, get a vintage. It's like your money's gonna be safe usually unless you pay top dollar.
I also think there is something, it's sort of like if you are a car guy, right? Like you're probably not on a track where you need a Ferrari, but there's something cool about that old Mustang or Camaro that you maybe worked on a bit and got going, and it's like a good driver. Like there's something cool about that. Vintage guitars are sort of the same way. Like, does my 79 Deluxe play as nice as my other ones? No,
definitely
not at all. But
some of the frets don't work.
I'm just saying, well, it's got new frets now. Like,
you did refret. Right. Okay, so that's what I was saying.
Got new frets.
It was not.
So even with the frets, it's not quite there, but there's just something cool about it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just got a sound that is obviously, I don't know how you get that with a new guitar, but it's all a trade-off.
Now, well, it's fun. Let's jump into Gibson universe for a minute. Now you have the Gibson custom shop, you have the made to measure, you have all the Murphy Lab, you have everything within the high-end range. Now, nobody can buy the really vintage Gibsons, obviously, from the 50s anymore. That's just not.
Even the crazy stuff is getting wild, like little juniors.
We saw a player's grade 59 for $150K, and I was shocked at how low it was. Player's grade, all sorts of problems with it. But still, it's like
headstock's only been broken 3 times.
Whatever, who cares? It's a 59. But no, so Les Paul. Who would have thought in your wildest dreams that the pancake bodies, which I own a few of, would be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 things, depending on your color, depending on the build, depending on the year. I've seen them as high as $7,500.
I said years ago that I should buy like an 81 the year I was born pancake. You know what I mean?
Now they're expensive.
And now, phew. Yeah.
Because we have that Black Beauty, like 72, I think, next door, and then
right.
in the showroom, and I got a few myself. But now we just got an R9, a 2024 pre-owned R9 in. That guitar buries. That thing is playing wise unbelievable. Now there's a lot of R9s out there now, so as an investment, it's not going to hold in the same way.
Right.
They don't go down dramatically, but they do go down a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to look at what kind of player do you want to get into. Can you find the magic in the 70s Les Pauls? Like, I like them, but maybe that's just because I have them. But I play that R9 and it was better.
Yeah, I mean, it is better. Like, I'm sorry, but it is better. But yeah, I mean, if somebody's like, here, play this 70s Les Paul, and you're able to tweak it and do whatever you need to do, yeah, you can get it feeling happy.
It's tricky, so you have to decide, like, what are you buying the guitar for? Are you buying it for your pure playing enjoyment? Then I tend to lean towards the custom shop. Are you buying it for you want the cool nostalgic thing that's gonna it's going to hold its value a lot stronger too than get vintage. You know, that's, but you can't get the vintage of what you're trying to spec a custom shop. No one's getting the 59. I mean, a few of you are, but you know, and then in the Strat world, no one's really buying 54s or hardly 54s all the way up to 64. That decade is something.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium, yes, that's what they found in the bottom of the Avatar tree. No spoilers there. We've all seen Avatar at this point, right?
I think so.
That doesn't give anything away anyway.
If you haven't, it's your own fault.
It's like, yeah,
It's your own fault.
The blue people won. Yeah, so I've sort of reached a healthy balance, I feel like, in my collecting. I play and still love custom shops and still buy some. When the right ones come through, like I got to take it home. But then I love searching out for cool vintage pieces too. Like I love offsets in the Fender world. I like some of the squirrely Gibson stuff too, not just the normal.
Well, that's like finding a weird little treasure, you know. The other thing is like the newest, greatest.
But isn't it funny? We want the newest and greatest thing to look like the oldest thing.
Well, yeah, because that's the best. It's the best. Bottom line, buy what you want. Whatever makes you happy, whatever inspires you, whatever makes you want to play, or whatever you think. Oh, you know.
I mean, that is the softball there. But I don't ever buy guitars for investments. I like to know that I have my money. I can able to turn it into money again if I need it.
I just can't do it. Like I can only buy. You know, it has to make me happy. It has to be the thing I'm sort of lusting after.
Okay, I like that. Well, let us know your thoughts, your journey, your process, what you've found that's been joyous, what you found that's been disastrous. I've had a few of those too. They fall apart, and the things come out of it, and it's not as old as you think it might have been. But that's a whole other story.
Last thing, can we all agree custom shop Gretsch is like not even like if you can have custom shop Gretsch or old Gretsch, it's
Custom shop Gretsch.
Not even.
Let's end that like that, because
There's a definitive answer for that one.
old Gretsch is cool, but it's sorta. So yeah, it's probably falling apart. Unfortunately, there's some really cool ones out there.
Yeah.
But it's few and far between. Old Guild all the day though.
Gee, that's probably true.
Okay, now
We'll go with that.
Peace. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
I'm leaving.
Gone.